Have you ever wondered how ancient people dealt with stress, anxiety, or what we now call mental illness? It's tempting to imagine that people in the past were constantly at the mercy of their fears and emotions, losing their minds at every challenge, but the historical reality is far more surprising. Ancient societies had surprisingly sophisticated ways of understanding the human mind. Even without modern psychology or neuroscience, they may not have had therapists or medications, but they had rituals, social structures, philosophies, and communal practices that helped maintain mental stability. In Mesopotamia, one of the world's first civilizations, mental well-being was deeply intertwined with religion. People believed that psychological distress could be caused by displeased gods, malevolent spirits, or curses. If someone experienced anxiety, depression, or what we might now call hallucinations, the community didn't just isolate them, they performed rituals, offered prayers, and consulted healers who combined medicine with spiritual guidance. This integration of mind, body, and spirit often provided structure and meaning, which helped prevent social alienation. Moving to ancient Egypt, we find a culture that linked mental and physical health. Temples served as centers of both medical and spiritual care. Priests and physicians recommended herbal remedies, exercise, and meditation-like practices. Mental distress was understood as part of a natural imbalance in the body and soul, not as an irreversible defect. People engaged in storytelling, communal work, and creative arts as natural outlets for emotional regulation. Meanwhile, in ancient Greece, philosophers like Hippocrates and later Plato approached the mind from rational and observational perspectives. Hippocrates believed in the theory of the four humors: blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. Emotional and psychological disturbances were attributed to imbalances of these humors. This early medical framework encouraged treatments ranging from diet and exercise to music therapy. Plato and Aristotle explored the importance of moderation, self-reflection, and community involvement in maintaining mental equilibrium. The Greeks also emphasized philosophy as a practical tool for mental resilience. Stoicism, for example, taught that individuals could train their minds to respond rationally to adversity. By practicing reflection, self-discipline, and acceptance of events beyond their control, ancient Stoics cultivated emotional stability. Epicureans, on the other hand, promoted moderation and simple pleasures as a pathway to happiness. In ancient Rome, psychological insight was often combined with social integration. Roman society was highly communal, and daily life involved civic engagement, public forums, and shared rituals. Citizens were encouraged to participate in debates, festivals, and physical exercises, all of which provided natural stress relief and purpose. Roman physicians like Galen continued to refine humoral theory, linking mental health to lifestyle, diet, and environment. Across the globe in ancient China, mental well-being was tied to harmony between body, mind, and nature. Confucianism emphasized moral conduct and societal balance as essential to personal mental stability. Taoist traditions encouraged meditation, breathing exercises, and alignment with the natural world to maintain serenity. Traditional Chinese medicine focused on energy flow, diet, and herbal remedies, which collectively supported emotional and psychological resilience. Even in societies we often imagine as harsh or primitive, mental stability was supported through culture. In indigenous American tribes, communal storytelling, rituals, and connection with nature provided structure and meaning. Shamans and elders acted as guides for both spiritual and psychological well-being. Social cohesion, clearly defined roles, and shared narratives helped individuals navigate stress and uncertainty. Interestingly, many ancient people experienced psychological challenges just as we do today. But they were less likely to be pathologized or stigmatized in the same way modern societies often do. Rather than isolating those in distress, communities offered participation, ritual, and engagement, which acted as a natural buffer against severe mental breakdowns. Humor and play were also surprisingly universal tools. In ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome, festivals and comedic theater allowed people to confront fears, anxieties, and social tensions in a controlled and communal environment. Laughter was a form of therapy, a social glue, and a subtle coping mechanism that helped maintain mental balance. Even the concept of self-care has ancient roots. Bathing, massage, music, poetry, physical training, and meditation were common practices across civilizations.
Oh.
While the terminology differed, the principle was the same. A disciplined, intentional approach to body and mind prevented extremes of distress. So why didn't ancient people lose their minds the way we might expect? Partly it's because their societies were structured around collective responsibility. People weren't isolated. They had daily rituals, community support, and clear roles. Challenges were framed as spiritual or moral lessons, giving them meaning rather than creating hopelessness. Of course, ancient approaches weren't perfect. People with severe psychological disorders could be marginalized, and treatments sometimes included exorcisms or confinement. But across cultures, there was an underlying recognition that mental well-being was essential to social cohesion, productivity, and spiritual life. What's remarkable is how many modern therapeutic practices echo ancient methods. Mindfulness, meditation, communal support groups, journaling, music therapy, and lifestyle-based interventions all mirror ideas from Greece, China, Egypt, and beyond. In a way, studying ancient mental health practices can teach us about resilience today. It reminds us that context, ritual, community, and purpose are powerful tools for psychological stability. The ancients understood something fundamental. The human mind is shaped by both biology and the culture we live in. So next time you feel stressed or anxious, think back to these ancient insights. Take a walk in nature, engage with community, reflect on your actions, or even enjoy a creative pastime. You're reparticipating in a tradition that spans thousands of years, a human strategy for maintaining balance in a complex world. The history of mental well-being reveals that the mind has always been fragile, but societies have also always found ways to protect it. Ancient people didn't lose their minds easily, not because they were invincible, but because their worlds provided the frameworks, rituals, and supports that nurtured psychological resilience. It's a lesson we can take to heart today. Structure, connection, and intentional practice matter as much as science and medicine in keeping our minds healthy. If you found this journey through the history of mental well-being fascinating, hit the like button, subscribe to Flashback Facts, and share your thoughts in the comments. What ancient practice do you think could help people today manage stress and anxiety? Because sometimes the past holds the clearest insights into the future of our minds.